Day. Welcome to this presentation on the Merkle Assured Chunking, a Mac toolbox created by Merkle Meta. So the background behind this tool is we wanted to create a tool that can take a large chunk of data, chunk it down into usable, more useful chunks, take those chunks, create a Merkle tree and a Merkle proof to basically to verify the chunking process, and also being able to verify a single chunk of that data so that it can be tied back to a larger data set. When we're dealing with large data sets, they can be huge, they can be teraflops, they can be larger, and one of the problems with working with such large data sets is they can be very hard to turn into models, turn into something useful. So we wanted to create a tool that could turn those large data sets into something smaller, something useful, and potentially something that could be sold. So what we've done is we've created a set of tools that creates a toolbox, basically orchestrating how to be able to break down these large data sets into something smaller that's useful. We've also created a metadata tool. So you're able to create basically a metadata tool that'll go along with your data set. Currently what we've done in the POC is we've just used a CSV file. As we progress with this tool set, we will be creating additional tools, or we're going to be upgrading the chunking process so it can take more types of data. Once you've chunked that data, basically we're going to create a Merkle tree, and during this entire process the metadata will be updated through each one of these sections, right? And that'll be basically enabling you ready to be able to put this onto the Filecoin virtual machine or something similar in IPFS. Your proofs can either be on-chain or they can be off-chain. How the chunk data cell walkthrough would kind of work is basically you would take your metadata and your proofs and your chunk data, place it out onto whatever marketplace you've wanted to sell it on. There then could be a data transfer with the data purchase, and then either by you using an off-chain proof or an on-chain proof, they would be able to verify that data. One of the other pieces that has to go with this, and one of the reasons why the metadata is so important, is to create that metadata search. If we are unable to search the data, how can it be found? So if we're using CIDSs creating a Filecoin, then at that point the CIDS will not have enough data there for you to figure out what the data set is for, make it a little bit harder for it to sell. One of the things we wanted to create here was to showcase basically a way that you can use the metadata that can be used to sell these sets of data. So this metadata can either be crawled or collected through the site it's being sold on. This could even in the future be used like a bot. Currently, if you look at web pages, they use XML to talk about what's inside of the web page, so that when the bots come to the page, they'll basically know what is inside of that web page. Now, if you have a data set, if you don't have your metadata or your data set correctly, how is that bot supposed to know what kind of data you're selling or what is it for, right? So the tool that we've created is in JS currently. You can use a node.js or you can use Go for this. You can either use a Go server or a Node server. And then basically some of the algorithms and strategies that we've created. So far right now, this is just in a POC. We actually don't have a working model here that's ready for deployment. But at this point, basically the idea here is to kind of show how you could potentially set this up for your site if you're creating a data market. Okay, and then in the future, what we want to do is we want to add AI improvements to this with some ML and deep learning to make the searches a lot quicker. We have a few ideas here that is put inside of the code here for our future state. All right, so let's take a look at the GitHub account here that we've set up for the Merkle Assured Chunking toolbox. It's fairly set up, fairly simple, fairly easily. It goes down into what we're trying to do here with our with this toolbox. Basically the problem, the solution statements that we're trying to do, and what we're going to focus on here in this video is what we have included in our actual toolbox. So from the metadata creation tool all the way up to the Merkle tree proof, what we have here is we have a video that is available to show how each one of these works. So you just simply click on this. Okay, so for the toolbox here for our Mac, what we've done here for a metadata tool is we've actually created its own repository here for this tool here. So you can go to its actual its individual GitHub site. What it does is it'll walk you through all of the steps that you need to do to actually use this. It'll show you how you run the server. It'll explain how you can add your information for your data set, for your metadata. When you hit generate, it'll actually create this inside of this window so you can have a look at it before you download it. Very simple. When you add data, it'll show up here on the right, and this is what it should look like roughly when you download it from the website after you go through from the tool. Okay, so for the second tool here, for the data chunking, metadata, and updating tool, basically you have a video, have the code location, you have instructions on how to basically chunk your data, and then how that metadata will be updated. So you can create your metadata here, you can chunk your data here, and then you can take your Merkle tree, you can do your creation of your Merkle tree, creation of your proof, and then once that metadata is collected, it'll show you how you can index it onto a let's say a data marketplace, and then how potentially that could be searched. Okay, and as we work through this, we are going to be increasing the tool functionalities here, search programs. There's a few other things we'll probably create, even create potential bots here to be able to search, some AI tools, and etc. We do have some workflows that we've popped in here just to assist with what we're trying to achieve. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you for watching.